So, recently I've got some really bad news. Especially if you've been eagerly waiting for Capitano, Columbina. Today we gonna discuss about all this bad info. So, let's jump into the video. First of all, it's coming from the Iris Leaks Telegram channel. In his first post, Iris mentions that Columbina isn't coming in version 5.1. But we already knew that, so that's not really a surprise. Then, he goes on to say that Columbina won't be in 5.3 either. This is starting to get concerning because, usually, characters are hinted at or teased before they show up in the game. And then, in the next post, Iris claims that Capitano won't be playable in any of the 5.x versions of the game. I mean, we've heard this rumor before, but hearing it again definitely makes me a little worried. So, that means there will be no playable harbingers in Natlan. Let's talk about Columbina's situation for a sec. If Hoyoverse really planned to release her, don't you think we would have seen her in the Natlan trailer by now? Maybe heard her say something, or at least had another character mention her. Like how Capitano was hinted at in the past. Speaking of Capitano, if we look at the last two regions, we got a playable harbinger each time, like Wanderer in Sumeru and Arlecchino in Fontaine. But in Natlan, it seems we might be facing something similar to the Inazuma situation, where a character shows up but doesn't end up being playable. It's been rumored that when Capitano does become playable, he'll take off his mask. And let's be real, adding a character without revealing their face would feel a bit strange, right? Though, it's probably the mystery behind him that makes him so popular. What really worries me, though, is that there are still 7 harbingers we haven't met yet, and none of them are going to be playable in Natlan. That makes the chances of seeing multiple harbingers as playable characters super slim. At this rate, most of them might not become playable at all. Right now, we should have 3 playable harbingers lined up, Capitano, Columbina, and Tor. But, what are the odds that all 3 will actually be released in Snezhnaya? So, realistically, it would have made sense to release at least one of them in Natlan and maybe 2 in Snezhnaya. But now, with no playable harbinger in Natlan at all, it's looking more and more likely that either Capitano, Columbina, or Tor won't be released until after the Snezhnaya arc.